A very warm welcome to Study IQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 14th August 2020. Day is Friday. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I'm reading a very interesting book by Robin Sharma. The name of the book is The 5 a.m. Club. And right in the starting of this book, you find a story. I'm not sure about further incidents, but the place where I have reached so far. Last night I was reading this thing that you have three characters, right? One person, and then there are two individuals. So these two individuals, like this person, right? He is helping these two individuals and is helping them, is inviting them to visit his luxurious island somewhere, and he said that I will pay all the expenses and everything. So these two people are wondering, like, why you are helping us this much. Of course they trust this person, but this person was, the things that this person was offering was something that you give to your loved ones only, not to strangers. So he said that, this person said that, I'm not helping you guys, I'm helping myself. So what he was trying to tell here is that by helping these two people, right, he is helping himself. He is not doing any favor on them, he is doing favor on himself, because he loves helping. And when we help someone, right, that gives us a sense of satisfaction. I'm sure we all have experienced this bliss of satisfaction at some point in our life. So always think, right, whatever you do and whenever you can, if it is safe, if it is okay to you, then if you can help someone, that will give you satisfaction. With this difference, satisfaction as well as a sort of sense of happiness as well. Dear friends, Study IQ team has designed various different smart courses. At present, Independence Day sale is going on all our smart courses. 5% extra discount is available. To find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. This offer is valid till 17th August only, so make the most out of it today itself. You can download the PDF for today's lecture from my Telegram channel. Dear friends, on our table we have four important articles. The first one is about Supreme Court's decision on this Copa-Sinner law, or the property, ancestral property. Second one is about independent but not alone. This one is about UK-India relationship. Third one is about child labor and things associated with it. Fourth is about education. Very interesting article. And the last one, we have got some important news items as well. Now, I'm sure many of you are wondering, like, why English versions are not coming on regular basis. Dear friends, first of all, I would like to apologize for the delay. And one thing that I would like to tell you is that apart from being a senior faculty, I am a channel director at Study IQ. So what is the meaning of channel director? Channel director basically means that I look after the YouTube channel, right? I look after everything. All the videos that you see on our channel, right, everything passes through me. So I am person in charge of this particular channel, and for that, because of this important responsibility, I have to deal with so many things in a day. So apart from making lectures, there are so many other things as well that I do it on regular basis. And my prime responsibility is to ensure that this channel operations are as smooth as possible, everything goes as per the plan, and and the other goals that are associated with any other business. So as you know, dear friends, if you are following this channel on a regular basis, then you know that there are so many new interviews coming of UPSC 2019 pass outs, and then we have one more new faculty on board, so training and coordinating and doing other things. So because of this few new things, I was extremely busy, and today I feel a little bit light because things are getting back to normal, but things were very, very busy, and because of this thing I was not able to record lectures on time. So I am really sorry for it, but I will try my level best to deliver all the lectures, if possible, by today itself. And if not today, then by tomorrow for sure. I will try my best, right? I cannot give you any time at now, but I'll do something about it. Rest assured. With this, dear friends, let's move on to the first article. Right by birth. Right of Hindu daughters to ancestral property. This is a very important decision taken by Supreme Court. Till now, what was happening in our country, I'm sure you are aware about this thing, but then as well I would like to add some points from my side. See, we have this in our culture. I don't know where it came from, but from since my childhood, I have traveled to various different parts of our country, and I have observed this thing that, and in many films as well, we find that girls are means it is said that girls, they don't belong to their parents' house, their main house. They take birth in their parents' house, but after marriage, their in-laws' house is the house that is their house, and they have to live there. And in many societies, in many cultures, in many different parts of our country, we find this thing as well, that there is no return ticket. When I say no return ticket, what I'm trying to say is that once a girl gets married, she cannot come back. Like, she can of course come back for a tiny vacation for a few days, or maybe twice or thrice a year, but she cannot come back. Like, divorce is not an option that is available. So even if a girl is being tortured at her what do we say, in-laws house, right, or husband's house, if she is abused physically, mentally tortured, emotionally abused, whatever, right, she has to stay there. She cannot go back to her parents' house. That's what the culture has, the society has created, this sort of norms. Things are changing, of course, but still, these are the things that we find. So how is it possible for a society to control or to create this sort of rules? Means if means when you abuse someone, means that person will take a little bit of beating, or to an extent that person will go with it, right? But a point will come when that person will say enough is enough, now I have to do something about it. But why we don't find so many ladies rebelling to this system? The reason is that you don't have any property. Your grandfather's or your father's property is divided between your brothers. You get no share in it at all. So you don't have any money, you don't have any property, you are not given that education. And even in many houses, in many cultures, they are not allowed to even step out of their home. If they are going somewhere, then a man will accompany, or if they want to buy anything, then someone will go from the home, and things like that, right? So all these things will make you very limited. You know what I mean? When I say limited, I mean to say that you don't have that many experiences. You've been trained in such a way that the outer world is very bad. You cannot go alone, and they will basically program you to be a weak person. And because of this programming, these things have been going on for a very long period of time. But now we find that girls are getting education. They know their rights, right? They are going out. They are getting new experiences. So they know the world very well. So now in today's world, if someone will even try to abuse, then they know the rules and regulations, and that's how it should be, right? It's not like if someone is living a parent's house, and if someone is coming to your house and adjusting in your house, then you should give them enough time to adjust rather than being bossy, isn't it? So this sort of decisions by Supreme Court, and this one particularly, will add that thing, that few pillars like education, economy, right? So this will make women financially empowered, because they will get 50% or whatever. If you have two brothers and one sister, then the money will be, or the property will be divided into 33%. If you have one brother if you are one brother, one sister, then property will be divided into 50-50. So you will have that property, right? And so no one will means, and this makes a very big difference, right? If you have a little bit of property somewhere, then means even in your in-laws, right, they will know that this girl is not alone. She has this property. She has parents supporting her, and things like that. So this whole things are like fence, right? They are like they will act as defense for this girl in a strange or in a new family. This is how it works. That's what I know. If some of you have a different opinion, then please make sure that you share it in the comment section. I would love to hear. Like in our country, we have this diversity, isn't it? So in various different parts of our country, we have various different ways of living. So if you have something new to add on, then please do it. I would love to know things from you and your experiences. Stick your opinions in the comment section. I would be waiting. Okay, so Supreme Court's this latest decision is a game changer, and the most important and most interesting thing is that this decision will apply retrospectively. That means from 1956 till now, right? See what happened here is in our country, and I'm being very brief here. I'm not taking you through each and every line that is written on your screen. This is for you to revise once you download the PDF. But the most important thing is there was this judgment back in 2015, Supreme Court in Prakash and others versus Phulavati case. So UPA government, it came out with this in 2005, UPA government came out with this law that daughters should be given equal right. But in that law, there were some loopholes. One loophole was that your father should be alive. If father is not alive, then you will not get anything. So it was something like that. But this new decision the latest decision by Supreme Court, one more thing, in 2005 this law said this thing, and then in 2015 judgment as well, Supreme Court said that whatever is said in that 2005 law, Supreme Court gave a green signal to that thing, or okayed that thing. But the latest decision by Supreme Court has overruled that 2015 judgment, and the new order says that starting from 1956 till now, if you have any property and statistical property, then this will be divided. If it is not divided, and if you want to divide it, then girls or daughters will get equal part in it as a son gets. And the right of a daughter will start right from the birth itself in that particular ancestral property. Now, one thing that I would like to add here is just for your clarification. This is something practical. See, if a property belongs to your great-grandfather, if great-grandfather buys a property, then he gives this property to your grandfather. This grandfather gives this property to your father. And then your father, you have father and mother, they have two kids. One is a girl, one is a boy. So you have to divide this property. A father has to divide this property between these two kids, 50-50, as per the latest law. But if a father has bought something, right, if he has bought a new property by his earning, then it's his choice. If he wants to give it to you, then he will. And if he wants to give it to charity or anything, then he can do the same thing. So this particular thing is applicable to ancestral property, the property that was purchased not by your father but by your grandfather. If your father has got that property inheritance, then he has to divide it, or your parents, they have to divide it between their kids, right? So I hope things are clear to you. Now, one more thing that I would like to add here is that we have some states like Kerala. They came out with this just law. When I say just, I'm talking about this 50-50 or equal division law between daughter and son. Back in 1975, Andhra Pradesh 1986, Tamil Nadu 1989, Maharashtra and Karnataka in 1994. Because in northeastern India as well, you find so many societies, so many districts where things are not patriarchal, or the family system is more matriarchal. So in this states, this sort of laws have been there for a very long period of time, but this decision is going to be a game changer. So I hope things are clear to you as far as this particular latest judgment is concerned. Now let's move on, but before that I would like to request all of you to please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On your screen you can see one photo, right? This photo is of Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace is UK's Secretary of State for Defence. So he's a very important minister in UK, and he's writing this letter, or you can say this article, that is printed in today's The Hindu newspaper. The name is Independent But Not Alone. And in this article, he's talking about India and UK's historic as well as future present relationship. So 15th August, we celebrate it as Independence Day, and UK appreciates this 15th August day, and UK considers this day a very important day for India as well as for UK as well. And this 75th year is going to be a new era, and there are so many opportunities that he writes in this particular article. He also talks about he also recalls the sacrifice and the contribution of Indian people in various different wars that were fought in parts of Asia to Africa, Mediterranean to Pacific, and millions fought for freedom in 6 years long struggle to rid the world of the tyranny and evil of Axis aggressors. He is particularly talking about World War II, and during this campaign in Burma as well, Indian people played a very important role. I found this image. It was stored in one of my image collection folder, and I was going through some images, so I found this one, and I thought this will interest you, because here you can see these are the territories. Even in today's world, you find so many Bermuda, and then you find British Virgin Islands, and in Indian Ocean they have this British Indian Ocean Territory. I think it's called Diego Garcia, and this Diego Garcia is rented or given in lease to USA. And then you have Chagos Archipelago. Archipelago. You find it in Indian Ocean. And the reason why I'm mentioning this here, Indian Ocean, because it's important when it comes to defense points. We are going to talk about it in a minute. So those who served in this vast Pacific theater are often referred to as the Forgotten Army, but he says that we must never let the memory of their sacrifices and achievements slip from our minds. May it be land, sea or air, Indians formed the largest all-volunteer force in the world. 2.5 million fighting in Europe, North Africa, Singapore, Hong Kong and Burma. 200 million tons of coal was provided by India, 6 million tons of iron ore, more than 1 million tons of steel, and countless Indian non-combatants supplied so many things, medical facilities, food, clothing, and so many other things. So contribution of Indians is, as you can see from this numbers and so many other things, that it's outstanding. And it does not stop here. We have some brave souls as well, like Rao Abdul Hafiz Panwa. He became the youngest Indian recipient of this Victorian Cross, very reputed, very famous. It's a big thing, Victoria Cross, and he was given this because he fought in Imphal. He was mortally wounded, but then as well he kept on fighting. At Kohima, an Indian-British force numbering 1,500 men held its own against 15,000 enemy troops for 2 weeks, despite phosphorus bombardments and ferocious infantry attacks. So there are so many other things as well. He writes here that the celebrated Black Cat 17th Infantry Division fought for 3 years in Burma campaign. Total 87,000 Indians paid the ultimate price. They sacrificed their lives in this World War II and other campaigns. And Field Marshal Slim has described Indian Division as among the best in the world. Today's challenges are different. Right, we are facing commonly, many countries are facing this thing, like UK is also facing this thing, we are also facing this thing, pandemics, coronavirus pandemic, piracy, extremism or enemies operating below the threshold of conventional conflict, proxy wars and so many other things. So in today's world, what we need to do, India and UK, we can work together. That's what the Minister is suggesting, and he's saying that we hold this strong as well as shared values of justice, stability and free markets. Both nations are democracy. Our history is, we have like 300 year joint history, shared history. And we are very close with each other in terms of culture. You'll be surprised to know, because I have lived some nearly 5.5, 6 years in UK. So I know this thing that I find it it's very interesting that we find we are so different, but we are so close to each other. We have so many things that are very common. You will be very surprised to know that Indian curry is a very famous or one of the most favorite thing for British people when they go out to eat. If you go to any Indian restaurants, then you'll find so many British people, and when you visit their homes as well, then you find so many things associated with India. So, and same thing goes here as well. So we are very, culturally, you can, means once you have a shared history, then that's going to be there forever. And today we find so many Indians living there. They're living there, working there, partying together, marriages taking place. So this is our present, and our future is very bright. And we are working with each other at various different levels, right? Armed forces exercise, biannual armed forces exercise conducted by both defense forces, and from jet engines to cyber technology, we are working there. There are several Royal Navy vessels operating in Western Indian Ocean, and this is the reason why I was highlighting this portion here. So this Indian Ocean is very important for us and for Britain as well, because they are one of the stakeholders, though small tiny island, but it's there. It belongs to them. So they are also stakeholder of Indian Ocean safety and security and free trade and everything. As far as Atmanirbhar Bharat, the vision is concerned, the minister writes that Britain is happy to support it, and Britain is eager to work together with India to modernize our defense force, as well as sharing their maritime technology with us. And 70 years on, India is proud independent nations, but India is not alone, right? The UK and other countries are with India forever. That's what this article is trying to tell us. Moving on to next item, historic ratification. Again, a big change. We started our discussion with women empowerment, or a topic associated with women empowerment. This one is about ending child labor, and it is giving children one of the most important thing, and that is their childhood, right? This period of childhood is one of the most beautiful phase ever, isn't it? For, I believe, most of us. Now, the welcome decision by Kingdom of Tonga. Where is Tonga? Tonga is on your screen, but it is in Pacific Island. Pacific Island nation it is, right? And here you can see, let me zoom it up for you guys. So let's quickly focus on this country called Australia. So if you are in Australia and if you head eastward towards Pacific Ocean, then you will reach here. You can see this maroon dots on your screen, right? This is archipelago of Tonga, or tiny islands of various different islands that belong to this country called Tonga. Okay, and you can see Fiji here. Fiji is quite famous place. I'm sure you have heard about Fiji, but I'm not sure how many of you have heard about Tonga Islands. So this is Tonga here. Now, dear friends, this Kingdom of Tonga has took a very important decision, and child labor is over now in Tonga forever. And this international labor law's 101-year history, this labor standard has been universally ratified. When it comes to ILO, when it comes to ending child labor at global level, Convention 182 plays a very important role. So if you find a question like Convention 182 is associated with which thing, then remember it is about ending child labor. It was adopted back in 1999, and the main purpose is to end or prohibit sexual exploitation of children, trafficking, deployment in armed conflict, and other conditions that compromise their overall being. The convention complements the ILO stands for International Labour Organization's efforts under 1973 Minimum Age Convention to prevent the employment of children below a lower age threshold. In our country as well, we find so many places where when you go out to eat somewhere, particularly on this street dhabas or street food, right, we find small kids are washing dishes, and then we find this new thing like small kids are forced to do begging. That's also a sort of work, and that is also a very hazardous it's a very hazardous condition. And this is not just begging, is not just hazardous. Then you find in so many diamond mines, in so many coal mines, small kids are forced to enter that pigeon holes, the tiny holes where adults cannot enter, but their kids are sent there. So this sort of things are going on in our country as well, and in developed states of our country we find this thing, in big cities as well we find this thing. So it's very sad. That reminds us that things are not over yet, right? 152 million kids around the world are trapped in labor, and 72 million of them, out of this 152 million, 72 million are engaged in hazardous work. We have also observed that the place where kids are, when their childhood is given back to them, when they are rescued from this labor work, we also find that primary education enrollment has gone up. So that's what we need. And this is not just responsibility of ILO or your state government or your central government. It is a responsibility of each and every one of us as well. I strongly believe that we should avoid all those places where we find child labor is going on. If you are buying a diamond, right, then you should always make sure that what is the history of that diamond, where it came from. If it is coming from a mine where you find small kids are digging that holes and everything, then I think that diamond is a blood diamond. That diamond is not pure, because you are buying a product that is forcing someone to sacrifice their childhood and work in mines for you, so that you can buy money, so you can buy the diamond from your money. So whether you go out to eat something, right, means it is, again, it's totally up to you. This is my own opinion. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But I find it very painful. I don't know why, but I really find it very painful when I see small kids are washing dishes. I try to avoid to visit those places. But I know that if I don't go, then there are so many people they are going to go there, and that is going to continue. But it feel a sort of satisfaction that at least I don't want to be part of that thing, because I genuinely believe that kids should be in the playground, in video game parlors, in playgrounds, and in schools. And they should be doing everything, right? Sometimes in school, sometimes in playgrounds, sometimes playing video games and so many other things, playing cricket or whatever it is. In India, we have ratified this convention 182 back in 2017. But as I told you, things are not over yet. The world target is 2025. By 2025, we want to get rid of this child labor, as well as there's all sorts of abuse and things going against or those who are doing this sort of things against kids or children. We need to get rid of it by 2025. But we have so many challenges as well, like coronavirus pandemic is forcing so many parents. They don't have any option but they have to send their kids to earn whatever they can so that they can survive. Very sad scenario. This one is about schools. Schools without freedom. Very interesting article. Now, the thing is, in central or in this government schools, we find this centralization because we want to standardize everything all across the board in our country. We have set some standards, and every one of us, like teachers and principal and other staff, they have to follow. They have to do everything as per the rule book. If you go out of the rule book, then chances are that you may lose your job or you'd be suspended or dismissed from the service as well. Same thing goes with private schools as well. So why we find this sort of standardization or too much of centralization? Because the main lakshya or main aim was to have some sort of standardization all across the board, all across our country. But this standardization is okay, it's good, but too much of rigidity is not good. And because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we know that so many schools are closed since last week of March till now. And I'm not sure how many schools or states will allow schools to open in near future. The thing is, we find that spread of virus is very uneven in our country. We have 6 lakh villages, and not all 6 lakh villages have registered cases. There are so many villages or towns and cities as well. They don't even today have, as far as I know, there are so many villages and towns, they don't have even one single case of coronavirus. Coronavirus has not reached there. So there is no point to close schools in this region because you have nothing over there. And the problem is that we are not doing that many testing. Those places that are safe, particularly villages, we need to do something so that People don't travel to those villages, right? Only a clean person, if you are not infected by coronavirus, then only you can travel. We need to do something like that. But what we are doing is now everything is open. I'm not saying that we need to have lockdown, but there should be some sort of restriction. I know one village where my nanima lives. So that village was clean so far, but they got first case just a few days ago. Maybe 2 or 3 days ago, they got their first coronavirus case. And now the whole village is like, the Sarpanch has called for a sort of local lockdown in that village. So if we can do something, if we can find a way that people from infected region, they don't travel to this sort of villages, then we can protect those people in village, and the kids and schools, they can they can go on, isn't it? Now, this article is interesting because this article is talking about nature. Right. First of all, there is no point of closing schools in those villages where we don't have coronavirus. If it is safe, then why not? Let the kids go to school and teachers. You can allow them this freedom to decide how many kids they want to take in, or like if you have 100 kids, then 50 can come today, 50 can come tomorrow, and things like that. We can do that. And why we are limiting ourselves with just indoor classes? We can have one session for a few hours a day. We can take our kids in the field. We can educate them about environment. Monsoon season is going on. There are so many things that you can learn from nature. So we can do that thing. We can train them with safety measures. We can train them with so many water conservation things, right? And child psychology has generated sufficient evidence saying that if you can trigger kids, if you can create that environment, right? Observation. If you can create an environment where kids can observe, they can play around, right? That will give them, that will boost their capacity to learn more, and they can learn more as well in this sort of good environment. At present, monsoon season is going on. So how about recording things and drawing sketches of birds? We have egrets and other birds coming in, butterflies migrating, and so many changes taking place, right? Ants coming out, and you find caterpillars, and you find so many chameleons and so many other reptiles, and so many things are there to explore. Normally we read all these things in books, or via books only. We know about many things about them on nowadays Discovery and Geography channel and other things, but this is the right time. But the reason why these things are not going on is because we don't have that flexibility. We have this too much of centralization and too much of rules and regulations that they have to follow. So this sort of creativity is not allowed. So I'm not saying to break the rules. What I'm saying is rules should provide some sort of flexibility. Standardization is good, but we have to remember that our country is very diverse. So we need a sort of touch of customization as well. And that's basically everything in today's discussion. News items. Tomorrow we are going to celebrate 74th Independence Day. Self-reliance in defense sector is one of the most important thing, has been said by Rajnath Singh. Large parts of the country likely to receive heavy to very heavy rainfall in next 2 to 3 days. A new national education policy will ensure accessibility, quality and accountability, has been said by Education Minister Prakash Javadekar. WHO advised 140 tests per day per million population. Charges framed against former Chief Justice of Bangladesh in money laundering case. President Ramnath Kovind to address the nation on the eve of 74th Independence Day today. And Prime Minister Modi assures Maldives of India's support in mitigating economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Government forms a 5-member panel to probe into Kozhikode plane crash. Rajasthan Assembly session begins today amid ongoing political crisis, and US President Trump announces historic peace deal between UAE Israel to establish a full diplomatic relations. And that's everything from my side. Thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you all. Jai Hind.